In most of the mammals, including man, there are mammary glands. These mammary glands are the modified sweat glands. These are modified to form milk secreting glands. These glands are found both in males as well as in the females. But they are rudimentary in the males and functional in the females, that is, non functional in the males. The human female, these glands are enlarged to form two breasts, and that is formed at the time of puberty. That is, the enlargement takes place at the time of puberty. Each breast has a central conical projection which is called as the nipple. The ducts of the mammary glands, they open at the tip of the nipple. Each duct is connected below to a highly branched lobulated glandular part, the purple color structure what you can see. The lobulated, that is in lobes, they are present, and it is a glandular part. There are about 15 to 20 lobules in each breast. These glands are surrounded by a thick layer of fat, and the activity of these glands is governed by hormones and the reproductive cycle. That is, mostly at the time of pregnancy, these become active and they start producing milk after the birth of the child, and that process is called as lactation. Then we have Meibomian glands. These are modified sebaceous glands, and these are found in the margins of the eyelids. You can see the glands shown in the eyelids here. Can you see those lines? Yes, those are the Meibomian glands. These secrete some oily secretion which serves to lubricate the margins of the eyelids. And as the eyelids, they are lubricated, they prevent the overflow of tears. Next is the ceruminous glands. These glands are modified sebaceous glands, and these are found in the auditory canal. The auditory canal is present in the ear. As you can see, the yellow color structure what is shown in the diagram, that is the ear wax. Yes, you might have also cleaned your ears, must have seen some yellowish color substance coming out from the ear. That is the serum, that is the waxy substance which is secreted by these ceruminous glands which are present in the lining of the ear canal. And this helps to protect the delicate parts of the ear. That is, whatever dust particles or whatever harmful substances enter inside, they are trapped in this serum. And it also helps to lubricate the ear. Here you can see the ear canal shown, the arrow mark. So that is the region where the ear wax is secreted by the ceruminous glands. So the role of skin in heat regulation. Mammals maintain a relatively high and constant body temperature, which enables them to lead an active life even when the temperature of their surroundings is low. And this phenomenon is known as thermoregulation. Now, why does a body require to maintain the temperature? That is, within our body, there is heat produced as a result of various metabolic activities. Some of them are oxidation of glucose, which occurs especially in the liver, then vigorous activity of the muscles, then ingestion or taking in of hot foods and beverages. So with all this work, lots of heat is produced in our body. So this heat is transported to the rest of the body through the blood. Whatever extra heat is there, that is radiated from the skin surface. That is, when the sweat comes up on the surface of the skin, it gets evaporated using the heat from the body. As well as the heat is lost from the body by convection, radiation, and a lesser extent by conduction also. So the body is helped out to maintain its temperature by all these processes. But why does it require to maintain it? Enzymes which are biocatalyst can work best between 35 to 40 degrees Celsius. At low temperature, they cease to catalyze the reactions. And above 45 degrees, they denature. That is, they are not able to carry out their functions. Hence, some of the living animals, they need to maintain the body temperature at this proper constant temperature between 35 to 40 degrees Celsius. And they are called the warm-blooded or the homeothermals or endothermals. On the other hand, some animals are unable to keep the body temperature constant, and these are called cold-blooded or poikilothermal or ectothermal animals. Cold-blooded animals undergo hibernation, that is during the winter season, and estivation during summer season. They try to avoid the winter by sleeping off the winter season, and that process is termed as hibernation. And some avoid summer season completely by sleeping off during the summer, and that is termed as estivation. So here this table shows you the difference between the ectothermal, which are called as poikilothermic, and endothermal, which are called as homeothermic. Okay, these are some of the examples of ectotherms. Here you have examples shown for endotherms, warm-blooded animals. Then coming to the blood vessels, that is, in the picture you can see when the blood vessel is constricted, okay, in that case the blood supply is reduced. See the hand shown. The rest of the part is having a proper pigmentation or proper coloration. But fingers, the fingers are pale. They lose the normal color. That is because there is no proper supply of blood to the parts of the fingers. You might have experienced this when you put a rubber band or you tie something very tightly to a part of the finger. Then when the blood supply does not take place properly, you will find it fading away. There is something else called as vasoconstriction and vasodilation. Okay, so what is it? When the body temperature rises, all the blood vessels and capillaries of the skin dilate, and that is termed as vasodilation. It increases the cutaneous blood supply, that is the blood supply in the skin. You can see the second part of the diagram where the blood vessels are thicker. So there is increased supply of blood to the skin surface, and that helps to give out more and more waste products, that is production of sweat increases. So the secretion of sweat increases tremendously in such a case, and the sweat evaporates from the body surface. It further causes loss of heat, that is it uses the body heat to evaporate the water surface, that is the water from the surface of the skin, the sweat accumulated, and that brings about a cooling effect on the skin. Hence about 90% of increased heat is got rid of through the skin alone. So that is vasodilation. And the first diagram what shows you is vasoconstriction. Vasoconstriction usually takes place during the winters. During that time the blood vessels are constricted. Hence the blood supply reduces. So no more sweat will be produced. And when sweat production reduces, automatically the loss of heat also reduces. So that is vasoconstriction and vasodilation. This diagram also shows you how vasoconstriction and vasodilation takes place. That is, basically vasodilation is shown here. You can see the normal permeability of the capillary. You can see here, this is the capillary shown, and this is also a capillary shown, but this is a normal one. So you can see those blood cells cannot ooze out from the small openings of the capillary walls, whereas the permeability of the capillary is increased here, and hence the blood cells can ooze out from there. Okay. Yes. Now here there is the difference between the vasodilation and vasoconstriction shown. So if you are asked for the difference, you will have to write it in this pattern only in a tabular form. Then what is negative feedback? That is, see, blood vessels dilate. When they dilate, sweat glands become active. So more sweat is produced. And this happens, the body heat is lost. And when the body heat is lost, body temperature decreases. So the normal body temperature is 98.6. So when the normal temperature is maintained, then what happens? When sweating, when we lose the heat of the body temperature falls back to normal, or at times it may even fall below normal. When it falls below normal, automatically the blood vessels again constrict, so that more heat is not lost, and then body heat is conserved within the body. And conserving it for a longer period, what happens? Sometimes it may go higher than the normal. If it's to the normal body temperature, it's okay. If it goes higher than the normal body temperature, then immediately again the blood vessels will dilate. So that is called as negative feedback. That is a process in the form of a cycle. This is the diagram of the skin. Okay, section of the skin being shown here. You will have to study this diagram. Even for drawing, it can be asked, or even for labeling. Yes, children, please read the text and be clear with the concept. Thank you.